If you look at the last few King of the Ring, so the last three to be exact, Bad News Barrett, Baron Corbin, and Xavier Woods, right? The only thing that all three of them went on to do was just simply to change characters. That was it. Winning King of the Ring did nothing for their careers. It took them nowhere. So now you have established. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Steve-O Ramon, aka Ramon. I am your host for WrestleHolics. Thank you for tuning back in. Welcome back to the channel. If you are already a subscriber, if you are a first-time viewer, welcome to the channel. We are glad to have you. We appreciate you. Before we hop into business, I gotta say major thank you to everyone who has been active on the channel, to everyone who subscribed over the last week. We thank you. We appreciate you. To everyone who's dropped a like, everyone who's dropped a dislike, everyone who's dropped a comment, we appreciate the support. Now, you see what I got on, right? I had to rock my Bloodline hoodie to bring you this video because when my partner Wanye, dropped what he had to say about Cody Rhodes, people went crazy. Like y'all went wild. All right, but you know what? We love it. That's what we're here for. That's what we want to do. We want to have a forum to have healthy, safe wrestling conversations and discussions. But some of y'all be tripping. All right, either which way it go. Today's video, today's topic should not be as controversial as some of the stuff that we talked about last week. So it's this wonderful time of the year again in WWE. That time of the year is King of the Ring and the Queen of the Ring. Now, for the video today, you know what? Let's just hop into it. So the King and Queen of the Ring, historically they go back years, right? But also there's another PLE that kind of falls in line with this, and that's Money in the Bank. Now, the purpose of the Money in the Bank is, of course, you win the money, you win the contract, you win the briefcase. It allows you an opportunity to cash in anytime, cash in any place, right? That's the purpose of it. Now, with King and Queen of the Ring, while there is no quote-unquote title shot on the line, the King and Queen of the Ring, back in the day, it used to mean something. Okay, it used to have a thrill, an honor, or a prestige associated with it. If you won the King of the Ring back in the day, then you were pretty much being earmarked to be the next top guy. Even if you didn't make it into the main event scene, you were still being booked to be a top guy, mainly because you were probably a good draw, mainly because you were really over with the crowd and you sold merch good. You maybe had good matches. You were maybe really dependable. You were maybe interchangeable depending on the role that you were assigned. But that's all changed now. See, if we go back to a brief history of the King of the Ring, then we'll see real quick. So 1996, that was the year that the King of the Ring really changed the landscape of WWE. Why did it change? Because in 1996, Austin 316 was born. Now, Austin 316 was born out of arguably one of the most controversial things that happened in the backstage politics scene. Notice I put that on a caveat. Okay, I'm talking about one of the most controversial incidents involving wrestlers, okay, in WWE in the 90s. All right, I ain't talking about Vince, but arguably one of the most controversial incidents, and that's of course the infamous curtain call in Madison Square Gardens. Now, you know that Paul Lefesque, aka Hunter Hearst Helmsley, aka Triple H, he was initially set to win that match, all right, or win the tournament. However, following that, he was punished, he was pulled to the side, boom, insert Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the rest is history. Now, the last meaningful winner following that would be, in my opinion, Brock Lesnar, who won in 2002. From 2002 to 2006, there was no King of the Ring, which is problem number one, the inconsistency. In 2006, you had King Booker, who became the quote-unquote King of the Ring, but instead of having anything meaningful come about, the only thing of substance that really happened was King Booker ended up developing the gimmick of King Booker, along with Sharmell. Now, I noted that in 2002, from 2002 to 2006, there was no King in the Ring, correct? Now, that's the other problem that I was mentioning a few moments ago. That's because for some odd reason, WWE felt the need, like in 2003, didn't need to have one. 04, didn't need to have one. 05, didn't need to have one. And then randomly in 06, it pops back up. But then it goes away again in 2007, 2008, 2009, I believe 10. I think the last King of the Ring following 2006 was 2015, if I'm not mistaken. Either which way it go, it shifted the show from being an annually, yearly event to just, we'll see if we have space for it on the calendar or not. So that brings me to question number one, subtopic one of why should I care? You don't even care as a company, as a promotion, to put the event on annually. So now we're trying to bring it back to, I guess, really re-establish the importance of it, to make it big again, to make it prestige again. But should I care? Should I really waste my time and get invested in this tournament? Yeah, it's some good action going on so far. Tonight is Monday, night one of the tournament. You've already had Dragunov fans on the men's side of the house. You've had Jey Uso fans on the men's side of the house. And right now, spoiler alert, if you're watching this, I should have said that earlier. Technically, Chad Gable just advanced because Sami Zayn just broke up the match and attacked Chad Gable. So he technically won by disqualification. I don't know which way it go. I'm sorry. Why should I care? If you look at the last few King of the Ring, so the last three to be exact, Bad News Barrett, Baron Corbin, and Xavier Woods, right? The only thing that all three of them went on to do was just simply to change characters. That was it. Winning King of the Ring did nothing for their careers. It took them nowhere. So now you have established the Queen of the Ring, which I believe was Selena Vega. I don't even remember who won the Queen of the Ring last year, because maybe, did they have one last year? I don't know. Either which way it go, the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments are essentially, at this particular point, useless. They're useless, they're pointless, they're meaningless, and there's no real reason to get invested in them. What is going to come from them? See, these tournaments should be used to highlight your next big guy, your next big gal. These tournaments should be used to highlight and mark the person who is next up to be the big main event players. But it's not. It's more so something used, yes, while it is essentially being used to give us a glimpse and taste of certain talents and athletes, to allow them the opportunity to showcase their abilities and their skills. But on the other side, on the other hand, it's still pointless. Why get invested? Why should I care? Like on a Monday night where you had Jey Uso versus round one, you had Jey versus Finn Balor, right? Because Drew McIntyre is injured and not clear to wrestle, because he's currently in this, I think, pointless feud with CM Punk, which more than likely Drew McIntyre is probably going to get passed over for the World Championship again, because he's wasting time with CM Punk. That's another topic for another video. You had that match, it was decent. And then you just had Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed, again interference. And then the third match of the first round tonight is going to be Gunther versus Sheamus. Good matches. Oh, I'm sorry. Then you had Dragunov versus Ricochet. Good matches. Excellent matches. Great lineups. But what happens after this? Same thing with the Queen of the Ring. So Queen of the Ring, you had Io Sky, she advanced over Natalya. You had Zoe Stark advanced over Ivy Now. But see, and here's the thing, right? This shows you how much WWE doesn't even care about this show. On the 3-hour show for Raw, you have 1, 2, 3 matches for the men's side of the house for the first round of the King of the Ring. But you only have 2 women's matches for the King of the Ring on the first round? See what I mean? It doesn't make any sense. It's a waste. We're missing grand opportunities. And now let's fast forward over to Money in the Bank. Right now, this is supposed to be the marquee prestige thing that really marks the person who's next. How does it mark them? You literally have a contract to get a championship opportunity at any given time. In 2005, first Money in the Bank match happened at WrestleMania. Thank you, Chris Jericho. It was his idea. Up until that point, every person who won Money in the Bank cashed in successfully. You had people likes of Randy Orton, Edge, Alberto Del Rio, Dolph Ziggler. Did Jake Hager win? We, the people. Yes, Jake Hager. 2013 is when we should have known that Money in the Bank was going to start going downhill. Because in 2013, John Cena won. Correct? Yes, he did. Look it up. Check me later. Hit me in the comments when you find it I'm right. In 2013, he won the case. He cashed in, won his match, but not the championship because he won the match for your DQ. It was historic because it was the first time that you had a contract holder cash in, win, but then win the championship. Following that, WWE redeemed themselves because from 2014 to 2016, them boys gave us a run of a lifetime. 2014 will probably be the most iconic Money in the Bank cash in ever. Seth Rollins' epic cash in at WrestleMania, inserting himself into the championship match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, making it a triple threat match. Also pinning Roman Reigns to win his first WWE championship. Speaking of long-term storytelling, I gotta see these two tied up for the title at least one more time before either one of them retires. Okay, back to what I was saying. That was 14. Then in 2015 you had Sheamus. 2016 you had Dean Ambrose. 3 stellar champions, 3 consecutive years, back to back, who all went on to have great runs. Then 2017 we introduced the women's Money in the Bank. Carmella was the first women's Money in the Bank champion. 2017, 2018 for the men on the other side will produce back-to-back winners who failed to cash in. A guaranteed title match, a guaranteed victory, and you have them fail to cash in, which now begins to take away the credibility aspect from the championship or from the briefcase. Because if there's some opportunity or a possibility that the person who's going to cash in is going to fail, now it makes the person who's holding the contract, if they're not already a over guy, it makes that person look like either a pawn or a break glass in case of emergency plan B. In 2019, Brock Lesnar win it. Now that was very controversial because you have many people, myself included, that felt that it was no need to have Brock Lesnar win the Money in the Bank contract. I guess it was just something that he wanted to do, presumably to cross off his bucket list, but there was really no effective means to have him winning. But he won. He went on to win. Then in 2020, you had more funny business going on when you had Otis, who won the contract, but then he went on to lose the contract in a match at Hell in a Cell against The Miz, and then The Miz cashed in on Drew McIntyre, but then The Miz cashed in on Drew McIntyre with the help of Bobby Lashley, right? And then about 2 weeks later, Bobby Lashley then proceeded to beat The Miz for the championship, which made Miz essentially a transitional champion. Actually, no, it made Otis a transitional Money in the Bank champion. Otis, I don't think anybody's a real Otis fan. And if you are, and if you're watching this, I'm so sorry for what I'm about to say. Actually, no, I'm not. Otis should have never won a Money in the Bank briefcase to begin with. I understand that at that time he was hot. He had the whole thing going on with Mandy Rose. He was popular. He was over. He was a good draw. But this man should have never won Money in the Bank. Come on. It's freaking notice. Why do we do that? Why do we even waste our time putting this briefcase on this man only to have him lose it? That was stupid. Then you had in 2021 Big E, arguably, wow, another historic cash in. Especially if you're part of the African American community, Big E winning the Money in the Bank contract and cashing in, classic, historical. Now, depending on what side of the aisle you fall on, some people count The Rock as a black champion. Me personally, I don't. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, okay? When I think about black champions, I gotta go Kofi Kingston, I gotta go Big E, I gotta go Bobby Lashley. That's me in WWE anyway. Now, I'm gonna keep moving past that. Y'all can fight in the comments because I stand on business on what I said. I do not count The Rock as a black champion. Either which way it go. 2022, more stupid stuff with the briefcase. You had Austin Theory cash in, but he failed to win on the freaking US title. And now 2023, you have Damian Priest, who cashed in at WrestleMania and is currently the World Heavyweight Champion. Likewise for the women, there has not been one single woman to cash in and lose the match. Not a one. Every single female that has cashed in her Money in the Bank contract has went on to have a fairly decent title run. And not only that, you've only really technically had one female that went on to win the contract, cash in, get the championship, who kind of ended up being a transitional champion, depending on how you look at it, and that's Liv Morgan. But that's because she won at the wrong time. She had to go up against a buzzsaw and Ronda Rousey. When then you can do about that. Now that brings us all the way here we are to today. In the year of our Lord and Savior, 2024, where we are in the midst of the King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring tournament, where we are preparing to have Money in the Bank here shortly, I believe in July. You just had a draft. Granted, not a whole lot has happened. Matter of fact, it was supposed to be trades. That didn't happen. WWE is once again setting us up, over promising and under delivering. So now you have these two events. These two events who were supposed to be used to mark their future. These two events which are supposed to be used to build the guys of tomorrow. These two events which are going to be blown and wasted more than likely if WWE does not change what they're currently doing. See, WWE has put themselves in a vortex many times of not having anyone established, not having anyone built up past the guys who they currently are letting run the ball now. One of the comments that I saw on one of my videos that we put up on the channel was that the problem with Cody Rhodes is that there are no top heels for him, and that is absolutely true. There are none. WWE has failed to build heels. We got so invested in Roman Reigns building him up as the bad guy that we only made temporary heels with everybody else. Everybody that Seth Rollins ran across was a temporary heel, only to get him through to his next match. We made no long-term heels. The best heel that you got right now, in my opinion, Drew McIntyre, but you got him tied up with freaking CM Punk in a meaningless feud that's going to do nothing and going nowhere. Why? CM Punk in their world championship is a bad idea. This man has not been able to stay healthy doing not one single championship reign since he came back. But at this current rate, it is not beyond me to believe that WWE would not put CM Punk inside of a Money in the Bank contract match and allow him to win the contract. It's very well within the realm of possibility for them to do that. Then you got the women's side of the house. You have Tiffany Stratton, you have Naomi, you have Kiana James, you have that's kind of a problem because I can't even think of enough credible women who've been active enough that would be believable to win a championship. And I'm not counting Liv Morgan, absolutely not. But you got Nia Jax, I'm sorry, that's one. I guess you have a couple. But should there be more? That's a serious question. You can let me know in the comment section. How many people do you feel at any given time should be ready or should be viable contenders for the championships? Either which way it go, I really hope that WWE gets their head out their butt. These are good events that can be used to build people for tomorrow. So we have to stop wasting them. We got to stop wasting time. We got to stop wasting people's energy. We got to stop wasting people's money. And we got to stop wasting people's attention. WWE, powers that be, fix this problem. Let the year 2024 be the year that made wrestling and made King of the Ring and Money in the Bank tournaments and matches, it made them count again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be all I got for you today. Again, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Also, we are still trying to grow this channel. Yes, we reached 100. Probably by the time you're watching this, depending on when you're watching it, we may be at 200 already. We may be past that. We may still be under that. Either which way it go, our goal is to grow this channel as much as we can, as big as we can. We want to get this channel popping. All right, we're trying to get it cracking out here in these streets. So that's why we have decided that every time we reach 100 subscribers, we will pick one person to win a $100 giveaway. Well, our first drawing or our first person will be revealed this Thursday on Wanye Bakante's video. All right, so share the word, get it out there, let everybody know. Subscribe to WrestleHolics Radio. Until then, I'm your boy Ramon. Peace.